Hi, Sam.
Oh, hey Claire, how are you?
I'm well, I'm well. How are you?
I'm incensed. I'm incensed because it's no longer a rumor. Am I coming in clear?
You're a bit. There is some distortion, or actually quite a lot of distortion.
Let me see 1 minute. Let me
Yeah,
see what
you're
I can do.
bubbly now.
1 minute. Um,
Are you also streaming?
yeah, no. I put out a 10-minute video live, broadcast on Facebook because I was just ready to burst because all of it has been confirmed, and I'd like it to be documented. And it would be nice to also have it be documented here in this conversation.
Cool.
All right, this is not the first time, and there is a precedent for this, and it was done by the same doofus tater tot when he was a senator in the U.S. Senate in the '80s, in the early '80s. I'm talking about Joe Biden. All right, having his a argument, known argument with our prime minister at the time, Menachem Begin, whereby Biden threatened Israel with pulling aid and military support and military aid if Israel did not do the will of the United States. In regards to the Lebanon war at the time that was raging, and also in regards to leveraging us and marginalizing us and our ability to defend ourselves. This was Senator Biden at the time threatening Menachem Begin, and Menachem Begin told him, "I don't, I'm not scared of you. We've been around here longer than you've been around as a country.
Mm-hmm.
We've survived. We've survived the Holocaust. We survived much tougher things than your threats. All right, so." And it just so happened that in that same year, Israel went through hyperinflation, and it's one of the reasons my family left, and it's one of the reasons that hundreds of thousands of Israelis left Israel and moved to the United States because Israel went through a hyperinflation and life became
Mm-hmm. You're
almost
bubbling
unbearable.
again.
Oh, wait, and life almost became almost unbearable here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, because of the hyperinflation.
Still bubbling.
Let me see what I can do 1 second uh, with the sound features here. 1 minute. It could be from here. Settings, more options, settings. 1 second. Audio. System default. No. General. Send it in the done. Leave empty calls. Captions, reactions, video, audio. All right. 1 minute. Press and hold spacebar to unmute your phone. Test system default speakers. I don't think. Is it better now?
Yes, yes, it is, it is.
All right. So yeah, not to be too long-winded about it, but it's not a coincidence that it's the current
It's happening again, sorry. I don't know what's causing it.
huh. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
Sound settings.
That's coming across loud and clear. Are you moving around, or you?
No. It could be. Wait a minute. I'll shut off. There's a fan I have on in the room. Could be the fan creating the noise distortions. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
There's a fan was probably making noise distortions. Is that better?
Yes, yes, it is.
All right. So I'm just saying it's not a coincidence that now, it happened during Obama's presidency, but now it's Biden. Uh, Biden has directly threatened our government and our prime minister. He told them, if you do not, back off of your judicial reforms, you will be ostracized from future meetings of Western nations in forums of, in forums about on democracy. And I wanted to share this video with you.
I,
And
I,
not only did he threaten that,
yeah.
he also is what else was he threatening? Uh,
Sanctions, regime
Sanctions, yeah, yeah,
change.
yeah, yeah. All the regular business, yeah.
Well,
Eh,
we've heard it all before, and we've seen it happen before. You know,
right, and now,
maybe a few choice assassinations just to make the
right,
point, so you know where you stand with the Americans.
yeah, and we're supposedly their best friends,
Yeah.
and they like to blow smoke up the Jews' asses, both in Israel and abroad, and in America, by saying that we're the best of friends, the best of allies, the da 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 da.
They
And
say
now
that
they're,
to all the vassal states, and there are
yeah,
quite
yeah,
a few
oh
since.
yeah,
Yeah.
and now Saudi Arabia has visibly moved away from them and turned their backs to them, and allied with China and Russia,
Yeah.
and they can they are capable. They're sending their navy back, large forces into the Persian Gulf now. They're very capable out of desperation to blame us for igniting a war against Iran. It is very
So sorry,
convenient.
can you say that again?
It is, they're very capable out of desperation.
Who is
The Americans,
Washington? Right.
the
Okay.
Washington, the establishment, the deep state, out of desperation now, because they've been blocked in Ukraine, and they've been blocked in the South China Sea against Taiwan, and no, and Japan has turned its back on the United States,
Oh, has it? I
and
didn't notice. Did it happen in?
Japan has made deals with China now on trade and energy, basically openly defying the United States.
So we in Europe. Well, you're technically Europe because you host the Eurovision Song Contest, don't you? Um,
Whatever, we're
yeah,
not
yeah,
Europe.
yeah. But I'm saying, really, it's time for
There are
Western
wannabes
Europe to
here
say to
that are ass kissers here that want this country to be a part of Europe. It's not a part of Europe. It's not a part of America. We are physically on the Asian continent,
yes.
and it's called Southwest Asia for a reason. We're not a part of Europe. We're not a part of Africa. We are in the Near East, and this is an area unto itself with a culture of its own. And all of our Eurotrash ass kissers here, wannabes, if they want to get their dual citizenship, pick themselves up, and go back to wherever in Europe, they're welcome to go. All right, because this is never going to be Europe. This is never going to be America. This is not Africa. This is not some Arab country. This is the Jewish state. And this is going to be a Jewish state. We have a Jewish majority here, and our will be done against the will of the American, the illegitimate American administration that was not voted in via a free and fair elections, but rather by a stolen election. All right, so shame on them. They are disgraceful. They are two-faced hypocrites, and as I said before, they are desperate now. They are desperate for a war. They are desperate for a war. They know they'll have their asses handed to them in China, by the Chinese, in the ocean, in the sea, in the South China Sea, in the Yellow Sea, wherever they are. Even the Japanese have turned against them. The South Koreans don't want a war with North Korea. They don't want America igniting a war anywhere in the Pacific. They're not going to get their war in China or in Taiwan. They won't get their war in Ukraine because they've shown their hands. Shown how exposed they are, using mercy.
How did they do that?
No, they've shown that they have a direct hand in aiding the Ukrainian military via mercenaries, via satellite GPS tracking, via drones that they directly navigate and use against Russian forces. The Americans are fed up. It's an unpopular war. Polls have been taken. Over 80% don't want direct intervention, and they don't approve of direct military intervention in Ukraine. NATO is fracturing. NATO is also in disagreement. We had the Germans, a lot of German officials and French, and whoever, and also it's mentioned in the video that I linked. They don't want any part of this war in Ukraine. We saw that the Austrians turned their backs on Zelensky in their, in their in their legislature, in their, when they were in session. They all put signs on their desks, on their seats, and they walked. They got up and walked out on Zelensky. They don't. They do not want to lend direct military support. They want to remain neutral, and they feel like they're being, sort of like forced into supporting a war that they do not want to support. They try to do the same thing with us, and with our lackey Prime Minister Bennett, a globalist-controlled puppet, a World Economic Forum-controlled puppet, along with Yair Lapid, two of them being very malleable puppets of both the United States and the World Economic Forum and the leftists, the deep state in America. And they were being promoted by our left-wing, corporate media here, the owned corporate media in Israel. That's even worse than your European and American left-wing corporate-controlled, legacy media. They're disgusting, and a majority of Israelis here have woken up to that, and they don't trust our media. Our media here is totally untrusted. Aside from the Eurotrash scumbags that feel that it's in their best interest to continue this alliance that works against works against the best interests of the Jews that want to be Jews and want to have a Jewish state here. These are the pretenders, the Erev Rav, that join the protests for whatever reasons. They're convinced that it's somehow the right thing to do, but they're not that sophisticated. Although they claim to be sophisticated, they're uninformed, and they don't know who's really pulling the strings and controlling the puppets, the real puppet masters. Now they will know, because it's gotten into the hands of our prime minister, the full investigation, and Bibi has come out and stated this in public, in open discussions, that these anti-government protests are being funded by non-governmental organizations that are directly linked to the U.S. government and to the EU and to other actors in Europe, in the European Union. I'd like you to play this video from 3 minutes in, and I want to.
Okay, there will be no sound because I'm on
All right, well,
OBS,
it's just
but
for the
I will.
recording.
Okay,
All right, just play it.
so from the third minute,
and let them
but you won't be able
discuss.
to hear.
No problem. I want them to discuss and to have this be on record, and to have this be, reaffirmed or bolstered by people that are far more informed than we are. They have connections to insiders, and they know that this is true. These are former officials of the U.S. government, all right, in the U.S. establishment. So play it, let them expand on what we said, and to make it clear to everyone that this, once it's exposed and they've been caught red-handed doing this. Let me remind you, Biden is suspected of being one of the manipulators, or one of the actors that actually gave the go-ahead on inciting a hyperinflation in the early 80s in Israel. All right, by way of manipulating the currency, and they had their means. They have their means. They can easily, back then, they easily got away with doing that and covering their tracks. And now America faces the same situation, whereby the world will dump them, and the world will get rid of their manipulations of currencies, and the control of the world of the standard, the world reserve currency standard that they have, their status. It's going away, and I think it's poetic justice, and it's measure for measure, and it's not a coincidence that he should be the president now, overseeing the downfall of the United States in its current state. Go ahead and play that video. I'll sit quietly here and
Okay,
I'll mute.
from the third minute.
3 minutes in, yeah.
Okay. Here goes.
You didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are.
That's the commitment we made. That's the commitment we made. We are not, look, here's the situation. We agree with a one China policy. We signed on to it and all the attendant agreements made from there. But the idea that it can be taken by force, just taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine.
Didn't he contradict himself, Sam? He seemed to be saying yes or no to me. Sam? Sam? Can you hear me, Sam? He muted himself. I can't unmute Sam unless he unmutes himself, so I have to wait until Sam unmutes himself. Sam, come back. Well, I'm waiting for Sam to return.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay.
We got the message across.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at his face, and he kind of looked confused and frightened, and
Who?
I guess
Douglas Macgregor?
it doesn't show because I could only play you the audio.
Right. Well, the tone of his voice is that he's a kind of flabbergasted at the sheer chutzpah that the U.S. government, that's an illegitimate government, is displaying for the whole world. And the thing is that they got caught. They got caught red-handed.
I think
And
there
there's
will be
not-
a coup d'état this summer, don't you think?
No. In this case, when you go against us in such a way, and we detect your treachery, we detect this treachery
And your uncertainty, because it just showed on his face, but I put the link in the chat so people can watch it for themselves. But yes, it was eloquent.
It's a recorded video. It's a recorded audio. It's not really. You can't see his face.
Oh, I was looking at his face when he said all that.
Wait. I just want to make sure I sent you the right link.
It says, "Don't become America's followers. Macron's anti-U.S. pitch admits to West."
Oh no. Sorry, I sent you the. Let's find. No.
Okay.
All right, that was from the Hindustan Times.
Yeah, that one. Oh, it wasn't the one you meant. Okay.
But I meant a different one. That makes the point as well. But whose face were you talking about? Macron?
Biden's face.
Biden's face. Okay, give me a second here. I found the right link.
Okay.
And this is where it's very critical. We have entered a paradigm shift. This will not be forgotten, or we won't overlook this, and we won't dismiss this, and we won't forgive this. This is the United States government attempting a coup d'état against our freely and fairly elected government that was elected by a majority of the Israeli, citizenry, and it's an incredible insult that we will not overlook and that we will not forgive. And these the demonstrators are paid. There have been investigations done on many of them. They found the paper trail and the money trail, and they know who it leads to directly. You can go ahead. That's the link. Is that
okay? I think I've got it.
Wait,
Douglas
wait, you know
Macgregor. What's coming is worse than World War III. People have no idea. That one.
Right.
Okay,
That one.
okay.
Yeah. Play it
Okay.
from 3 minutes in. From 3 minutes in.
All righty.
Blamed the war on the United States and articulated in public his view, a view you and I share, and most people watching us now share, I think, that the U.S. was responsible for the coup in Ukraine in 2014, the so-called color revolution. And the U.S. started all of this and thus is largely responsible for it. I don't know that President Putin has been that direct, that public about this before.
Well, I think he certainly made the larger case. He hasn't been specific about the so-called coup, but there's a huge mountain of evidence to support what he's saying. And by the way, you now have Mr. Netanyahu in Israel, who is absolutely convinced that we're running a quote-unquote color revolution against him and his government.
Well, you're a question ahead of me as to whether, God bless you, Colonel, whether you believe that the Central Intelligence Agency was responsible for massive, persistent, endless demonstrations in the streets in Jerusalem and Israel over the makeup of the Israeli judiciary.
Well, you have this thing called the National Endowment for Democracy that is all over the place. And the National Endowment for Democracy should probably be renamed Color Revolution Headquarters for the subversion and installation of new governments that are subservient to, responsive to U.S. will. I mean, that was clearly going on in Kazakhstan in the first few weeks of this Ukrainian disaster. You'll recall the Russians sent a lot of special forces in there to help the government recover itself. It's been the case in any number of places. I think that's one of the reasons that Lukashenko has effectively signed on 100% for Putin, because you had the same outfit working in Minsk.
Right.
This is not new. Now, is the CIA involved with that? Of course.
Right. How else could it have happened? Well, President Putin was speaking directly into the eyes of the American ambassador in Moscow. President Zelensky was visiting one of his staunchest allies in Poland. We have a little clip there. There's the president of Poland, and there's President Zelensky. What more can the Poles give him short of troops on the ground, which we know is what he wants?
Well, now we've got another problem in the region.
You don't have to play the whole video. I mean, he just got his point across about the
states
National Endowment for Democracy.
Yeah, he's already made that joke about, what it should be called.
Right.
Okay. I've stopped it now. Yeah.
Yeah, because he goes on about what is expected to develop as a result of the treachery, the exposed treachery.
Uh-huh. Yes, very sad, and the lies are so transparent now, and, Uncle Sam is sort of the boy who cried wolf once too often.
Right. Yeah, but they're exposed now as the villains. They are the ones doing what they claim other nations do. Third world nations, banana republics, tin pen dictatorships. They use these same tactics and same methods to overthrow governments that they do not see as favorable to them or in agreement with their supposed values. I don't see any values in Biden's administration. I only see demonology. I only see pure and outright Satanism and demonology, and I'm not being hyperbolic and I'm not exaggerating. They are sick, evil, demonic, satanically possessed individuals. And their claims to being supposedly more sophisticated, more intelligent, more somehow progressive, somehow appealing, and having some sort of cool factor. They don't realize how despised they are by a majority of the people in the world. Having a tater-tot, potato head, senile, pedo Hitler doofus being the leader of the United States now is not just diminishing the image, destroying the image of America, just by virtue of what he says, by virtue of what the people in his cabinet say, his press secretary. They don't only put their foot in their mouths, they literally shoot themselves in the foot every second they open their mouths. And it is a clown show, it is clown world, and they are the top clowns. They are the whole entire the pantheon of clowns in the clown world. The gods of the clowns. That's who they are.
Top
All right?
clowns.
Top clowns in the circus. All right. Tater Tot deserves all the ridicule that he's going to get. He deserves being looked upon as an illegitimate president. This is his reward for threatening our prime minister in the 80s, Menachem Begin, and for the suspected invocation or manipulation of Israel's hyperinflation in the 80s on the part, illicitly, secretly, on the part of the moneyed powers.
Can I stop you here, because I wanted to ask you about how they threaten Begin and what evidence you have for
No, this is by people that were in the Oval Office at the time. It wasn't the Oval Office. It was in his Senate, in the Senate, in Biden's office in the Senate. There were witnesses to this, and it is written in the record books. It's not just speculation. There were a lot of people that overheard the shouting match, and people in Begin's entourage also recorded it for posterity. You could look it up. I mean, look up Menachem Begin's response to Biden in the 80s, and you'll see it. It'll come. There'll be memes that'll come up. I can find it for you. Look it up for yourself and post it. I'll one second.
Menachem Begin about Biden.
Write down Menachem Begin's response to Senator Biden.
Wow. Okay. Right. And what was he saying?
Well, the main quote is very popular to Biden.
Okay.
Here, I'll read it. Here, on June 22nd, 1982, Joe Biden was a senator from Delaware, and he confronted the then Prime Minister of Israel, Menachem Begin, during his Senate Foreign Relations Committee testimony, threatening to cut off aid to Israel. Begin forcefully responded, "Don't threaten us with cutting off of your aid. It will not work." And here's the full quote. I'll read it. One second, I'm bringing it up. I'm not a Jew with trembling knees. Okay. Here, and Netanyahu was also, this is recent, just from a couple of weeks ago. And Netanyahu's response to Biden's interference is in the proud tradition of Ze'ev Jabotinsky and Menachem Begin. Okay? So it's the history repeating. And here it is. Here's the quote. Don't threaten us with cutting off of your aid. It will not work. I am not a Jew with trembling knees. I am a proud Jew with 3,700 years of civilized history. Nobody came to our aid when we were dying in the gas chambers and ovens. Nobody came to our aid when we were striving to create our country. We paid for it. We fought for it. We died for it. We will stand by our principles. We will defend them. And when necessary, we will die for them again, with or without your aid. Senator Biden reportedly banged on the table with his fist, and Begin retorted, "This desk is designed for writing, not for fists. Don't threaten us with slashing aid. Do you think that because the U.S. lends us money, it is entitled to impose on us what we must do? We are not. We are grateful for the assistance we have received, but we are not to be threatened. I am a proud Jew, 3,000 years of culture behind me. You will not frighten me with your threats. Take note, we do not want a single soldier of yours to die for us." And so this is in a Jewish mysticism that it says in the end of days that the Edomites, Edom, which is Europe and America, will come to the Jews and say, we fought all these wars in the Middle East for you. You know, the two-faced hypocrites will say, like a lot of Americans like to say, we fight Israel's wars. No, you don't. You fight your petrodollar wars is what you fight. You fight your narcotics smuggling wars out of Afghanistan is what you fight. You fight your child smuggling ring wars. That's what you fight. That's the harsh underbelly, the disgusting, rotten underbelly of your foreign policy. All right? Ze'ev Jabotinsky, the leader of the revisionist movement, which both Begin and Netanyahu emanate from, noted in 1940 that we hold that Zionism is moral and just, and since it is moral and just, justice must be done, no matter whether Joseph or Simon or Ivan or Ahmed agree with it or not. There have been very scary scenes coming from Israel this week. Yet, no matter what, the state of Israel is more important than solely the very important issue of judicial reform. This is the author writing. For me, no matter what, I stand with Israel. That's how it should be. All right, that's what he's writing in his editorial. This is a history repeating. This is another episode where the two-faced American establishment wants to have their cake and eat it too. They want to get their way, and basically supposedly stand as a paragon of virtue, a paragon of democracy. The National Endowment for Democracy and all these stupid forums about democracy. But now they get caught red-handed undermining their friends and allies that are democracies that they tout as democracies. They're so proud of Israel as the only democracy in the Middle East, right? And now, after we've had fair and free elections where we exercise democracy and our democratic rights in a democratic election, they are not happy with the results, and they want to overthrow our government in an underhanded coup d'etat that they are funding via a color revolution that they're so famously, notoriously known for. All right? The shameless, disgraceful, chutzpah. They're disgraceful. And they have a senile doofus, incontinent, pedophile, incestuous tater tot, potato head, as their front man, all right? As their walking, talking puppet that they inject with all sorts of drugs and supposedly the blood of children, adrenochrome, to keep him, the Walking Dead, what's his name? Weekend and Bernie's carcass, alive long enough to say and do what they want, the establishment over there. America looks like a joke. America is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. And what Trump said is true. The country's dead, and it's going to be more and more, dead. It's going to be deader and deader. It's going to be a mortified mummy soon because people there, I give them a lot of credit. The ones that actually stood up and fought, the ones that got arrested, the ones that were taken as political prisoners. Americans put up a fight, but the majority of the people in America are fucking stupid zombies. They're dumb fucks. All right,
In
and until
denial.
they're in denial.
Talking
All right,
nonsense, avoiding the question.
yeah, basically, and they will be just as Putin said. They said it in a unified voice. We will, how did he say it? We will put you in your place. We will teach you a lesson. Okay, so I'm not pitying what America has become. I'm all for the states doing what they must to fight the tyranny of the federal government. I'm all in favor of resistance and resisting the tyranny that is a technocratic tyranny in America right now. But as far as them not stopping their illegitimate president from attempting a coup against us, I will defend myself. I will defend my family, and I will defend my country against the tyrannical usurpers with the shit-eating grin on their face, their Joker grin from ear to ear, that fake smile, that plastic smile that you see Mr. Biden smiling, that petrified freaking walking talking puppet, Bernie, the not Bernie Sanders, but Weekend at Bernie's, the dead man that the puppeteer's puppet pulled the strings of the puppet.
It's a movie, right? Weekend.
Yeah, it's a movie.
I didn't
It's
see
a
it, but
no, it's a stupid comedy from the '80s. They use it as an example of of puppeteering. A politician like Biden. It's like a Weekend at Bernie's. They all use that model to describe him. Anyway, but it's silly. But people that know the movie and understand the reference will get it. All I can wish is what I wished upon just America from the previous recorded 10-minute video I just made, a live broadcast on Facebook. And most Americans that are also, sadly, we're facing the same circumstances that America faced during the presidential race between Hillary and Trump. Trump is not going to come to the rescue. He doesn't have time. He said it that this will pop off well before the elections. It's already popping off.
Are you okay about me putting your Facebook profile in the
fine,
chat?
no problem.
You want people to come
problem.
to you?
No
All right,
problem.
I'll do that.
Be my guest. But the thing is, the only thing that will stop America now, and it will be the hand of God and direct divine intervention, is the financial collapse of the Western financial system. It will paralyze America. It will and Europe. It will just leave them dead in their tracks, and they're going to be incapable of pulling off any war or any offensive. They'll just be dead in their tracks. And this comes directly out of the book of Daniel, chapter 11. They will come to their end, and no one will help them. This is again. They've come to take away many. They're furious. This is the establishment. This is the people. The deep states of all these governments. These are the sinister element that's pulling the strings now. They are going to come to their end. It is prophetic. We are upon it now. This is the crescendo. This is the fat lady singing. The banks now, if according to some analysts that I've heard describing it, there are certain parameters that are telling, that actually can predict the failures of major banks that are, systemically important, or institutional banks that are too big to fail. There's an an analyst that I listen to, that he's a statistician and a mathematician. His name is Jim Willie. He lives in Costa Rica. I also uploaded the video. He said that he predicted the collapse of Lehman Brothers, and he saw that there's an underlying a sort of figure, a calculation, that once a certain limit has been reached of leverage in their that is multiplying. It's exponentially multiplying itself with the derivatives these banks hold. All of the all of those derivative bets that they didn't get rid of. The same thing that sank Credit Suisse not too long ago. It led to their failure, and they're having been purchased by UBS. He basically said he knows the calculation, he knows the figure, he knows the exponential limit that these banks can reach before they collapse, before they fail. And he says that Deutsche Bank has reached that limit already, and it's a matter of, it's a countdown. It's as if, the spark has been lit, or the, what do you call that? When you light a bomb, there's a fuse. The fuse has been lit. All right, it's a countdown now. All right, they can no longer extend and pretend. And when Deutsche Bank goes under, they won't be able to have some sort of corporate takeover, another bank buying them.
But the too big to fail bank has indeed failed.
Yes. Okay, so they covered it up in Switzerland. They took very extreme emergency measures, and they exposed their hand also for being desperate criminals and not following their own laws that they put on the books. So the same situation applies now to Deutsche Bank and all the other banks, the French banks, the Italian banks. All of them will go under. And this will be a cascade, all right? As was predicted over many, many years, all right? It's a long, long in the making, very, dry and, what's the word? Overdone subject matter and discussion, and all the details and all the there's a lot of bankers that know how to basically wordsmith the description of what's really happening, and it's convincing enough. But I'm saying that what I wish, I'll go back to what I wish upon the illegitimate government of the United States now, that is, again, putting the world on the edge of a nuclear annihilation and a nuclear holocaust, shamelessly, in such a disgraceful manner, in such a haphazard, sort of nonchalant manner. Disgusting, disgraceful. Only zombies are capable of doing this. Only zombies are capable of behaving in this way. I wish that the entire financial system crashes down on your heads, and that you become completely paralyzed, and you will not be able to do more damage to the world because of your arrogance, because of your pride, because of your unwillingness to admit defeat, because of your unwillingness to realize that your time has come and the shift has arrived. The dollar will no longer be the world's reserve currency. You will no longer be the hegemony, the superpower. For having betrayed me personally, for having betrayed my people, for having backstabbed us, for having attempted a violent, anarchistic coup against our government, using your goddamn corporate media, your leftist, compromised media, both in Israel and abroad, using your stupid arguments, saying that we're employing draconian laws, and that the judicial overhaul is unjust, that we want to put the transgenders in their place, that we want to put all the sexual deviants in their place, that we do not want this for our country, this is not what we support as a Jewish state. Go to hell. I hope your money burns in your face. I hope your empire totally collapses in on itself for the sake of world peace, for the sake of the survival of the human race. You must have your humbling, and if you ask me, I'm in full support of Putin, saying we will teach you a lesson. We will put you in your place, you fucking sick degenerates, you depraved animals, you cowards, for not speaking out and not sounding off on the sickness, this end times apocalyptic sickness that has invaded and completely infected your country, the state, the body of your country. You're sick. If any fair and minded American hears this, you should know the best solution for you is to have your money die, and may it be now, may it be immediately, because if it does not die, the world risks nuclear war because of your dollar, because of your butthurt, pride. All right, it's disgusting. You are not worth it. You and your stupid so-called democratic values are not worth it. The world wants you put down like a sick, wounded animal, a sick, wounded dog, and I'm all in support of it. You do not represent freedom. You do not represent liberty. You do not represent a brave,
So my friend here
what is
that I
it,
met maybe
benevolent, whatever, positive force in the world. You do not represent that. You represent Satan. You are truly satanic. You live up to what the Iranians have called you for decades. God is with the Jewish people in Israel. The Messiah is here in Israel. I have nothing to fear. I have nothing to fear from the Iranians, not from the Syrians, not from the Turks, not from the Egyptians, not from you, not from the fucking Europeans, not from the fucking Satanists in the Vatican or the World Economic Forum. We have nothing to fear of you. You will be put in your place, all of you. That's my final message.
Thank you, Sam.
All right. Have a good day, Claire.
You too.
Thank you for hosting. Bye-bye.